The main action of the film takes place in the capital of the United States, the city of Washington. At the beginning, an episode is shown in which the main character Carol Bennell is in a pharmacy and frantically searches for some specific drugs among the medicines. The Space Shuttle Patriot explodes in the dense layers of the atmosphere while trying to make an unplanned landing on Earth. Tucker Kaufman, a high-ranking official and the ex-husband of the main character, arrives at the headquarters organized by the military at the site of the fall of the shuttle wreckage, where the current situation is outlined to him. The debris is infected and the infection zone stretches for 300 kilometers from Dallas to Washington. Along the way of the fall of these debris, the organism that caused the infection is extremely tenacious, has haploid characteristics what is inherent in endospores, and so far only one thing is clear, that it is of extraterrestrial origin. When leaving the headquarters, a girl runs up to Kaufman and hands him a piece of sheathing with the words, "Sir, this fell on our roof." He automatically takes it in his hand and immediately throws it away, injuring his finger. Upon arrival home, he is greeted by a Labrador and immediately runs away with a growl. Kaufman goes to bed and during sleep is covered with some kind of film. Carol wakes up screaming and runs into the bedroom to her son, whose name is Oliver, where she comforts him from a nightmare. In the morning, Tucker calls her with a request to meet with her son. She goes to her office where her regular client Wendy is already waiting for her, complaining about her husband that he is not who he was before and just killed their pet. In the evening, Carol and her friend Jill accompany their children asking for Halloween candy, and an aggressive dog rushes at the children behind one of the doors. There was blood on the neck of her friend Andy's son, but it turned out to be the blood of a dog. Already at home, the children are sorting out the sweets and Oliver starts screaming, trying to take some kind of film off his hands. Carol cannot understand what it is and the next day takes her to the laboratory to her friend scientist Ben Driscoll. At this time, officials of the presidential administration and various experts, including Kaufman, are present at the meeting where the issue of curbing the spread of the new virus is being resolved. The waiters serve them coffee into which they spew out some liquid. Carol takes her son to his father and on the way almost gets into an accident involving a woman who almost got under their wheels. She leaves Oliver at Tucker's and goes with Ben to an evening event at the Czech embassy, while her ex-husband mysteriously treats their son to hot chocolate. At the party, Carol meets the outrageous diplomat Yuri. After dinner, Ben kisses Carol, but she asks him to leave everything as it is and stay friends. Already at home, she is attacked by a man from the census department who tried to break into her house, but she fought back and he left. Carol goes to work in the morning. People on the street are behaving strangely, clients have canceled sessions, and the secretary brings a cup of tea and insistently asks Carol to try it. But at the last moment the phone rings and she rushes to the laboratory where the results of the film study are obtained. The sample looks like night sweat, only instead of evaporating it has hardened. It partially consists of spent white blood cells which are found in any infection, which means that the sleep hormones served as a catalyst in some kind of metabolic reaction and then were removed. Heating these viral cells to 370 degrees did not destroy them. Colleagues from the Fort Detrick laboratory hypothesized that this is a reasonable perfect unit with the size of only a few cells, which integrates its DNA into the human body and reprograms the human genome overnight. At this time, Ludmila calls from the Czech embassy and says that something terrible is happening to Yuri. They go to her and see Yuri sleeping and covered in slime. After that, they decide to take samples and film everything on camera. Carol takes pictures of Yuri with a flash on her phone camera and wakes him up. He attacks her and then lets go and dies in convulsions, as the process of reformatting him has not been completed. Carol urgently goes to get her son, but her ex-husband did not have him at home, and Tucker himself knocks her on her back and infects her with mucus. She runs out of the house, the neighbors chase her, but the girl manages to get on the subway. There are two uninfected married couples in the carriage, and the African-American, realizing that she is not transformed either, tells her that they can be deceived if they do not show their emotions. At this moment, a group of people from the next car enters the car, and they run to the end of the train trying to escape, but only Carol breaks out. In the back rooms of the subway, she stumbles upon a zombified employee and kills him with his own pistol. Carol, in search of her son, gets to her friend Jill, who is infected, but Carol deceives her with her unflappable behavior. Not finding her son at her house, she returns to the Czech mansion to her friends. After consulting, they decide to go to Fort Detrick, 200 kilometers from Washington, where they were promised admission. But Carol doesn't want to go without her son. On the street, they meet Carol's client Wendy, who was captured by the police, and she shouts to them that she was already asleep but does not look infected. Interested in this, they go to Carol's office and understand from Wendy's story that she had encephalitis, which was a complication after chickenpox, and not simple but acute disseminated encephalitis, affecting the white matter of the brain, not gray. And the heroine of the girl remembers that last year her son also had chickenpox and he was vaccinated. But it was a new type of chickenpox, and in the hospital he was diagnosed with acute multiple encephalomyelitis. They report their discovery at Fort Detrick, where they are preparing and testing a vaccine against the infection. Then a message arrives on her cell phone in which Oliver informs her that he is with Tucker's mother. Ben helps her break through the military cordon and stays in Washington while she takes the train to her son. On the train, she bumps into Oliver's friend Jean, who tells her that his mother died after failing to transform. He offers her to sleep and she agrees and pretends that she has transformed by wearing the films she found in the toilet. At the train station, they are met by her ex-husband Tucker, and they go to his mother. Carol enters her son's room. They look at each other for a long time, trying to figure out if one of them has changed. Realizing that they have not, they hug, and at that moment Jean comes into the room and sees their emotions. She pushes him, he falls and loses consciousness from hitting the headboard. They escape from the house and hide in the basement, but Tucker finds them, and in a scuffle, she kills him with a hammer blow to the back of the head. Then they run to the pharmacy, and the episode that was at the beginning of the film repeats. She finds adrenaline and explains to her son how to use it, and in the back room she discovers sleeping infected people, takes a gun from a sleeping policeman and locks them up. While they are waiting for Ben, she falls asleep and begins to transform, but Oliver gives her an adrenaline shot in her heart, thereby waking her up and stopping the transformation. Ben arrives, unlocks the back room, and releases the zombies. When trying to grab her, Carol kills everyone and wounds Ben in the leg. This is followed by an exciting chase scene in which zombies try to grab Carol and her son. They escape with the help of Dr. Gallian, who arrived by helicopter. The news shows about vaccination of the population through water and food, spraying the vaccine from helicopters. Dr. Galliana gives an interview in which he says that the virus is over, and those who have recovered do not remember anything and perceive what happened to them as a dream. The film ends with a scene in which Carol accompanies Oliver and Andy to school in the kitchen, and Ben is sitting at the table with a newspaper. As a postscript, Yuri's words sound that people are capable of terrible things in certain conditions, and that if you imagine a world without wars and disasters, it means imagining a world without people. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel because it is very important for the development of the channel. Have a nice day.